Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. The Citizens' Coalition candidate for Senator, MP Krzysztof Brejza, is setting off on an election tour accompanied by his party companion, Adam Szłapka. The tour will bear the hashtag #StrongTogether. The slogan, however, is controversial as there is an online community with the same slogan, infamous for hatefully targeting Law and Justice Party politicians.
Anyone who wants to support the campaign of the Civic Coalition Party can contact us. We run a hotline. These are the most important elections since 1989. The elections for everything. For a dozen or so weeks, maybe a little more, there was a Strong Together hashtag circling the internet. Today, at the conference of the members of staff of the Civic Platform Party, it turned out that this was planned by the Civic Platform, endorsed by Krzysztof Brejza and Adam Szłapka. The content associated with this hashtag is not only outrageous, but also vulgar. Krzysztof Brejza can certainly count on the support of his voters. We have evidence of this in his electoral district. He is very well liked and respected. His campaign enjoys a very large social response precisely because it tracks scandals, takes note of them, and effectively proves any violation of the law. I appeal to everyone, let's be careful what we write on Twitter, regardless of who we like. Anyone can read this. Let's think about what we're writing. Let's not hurt others. Write the truth.
The Law and Justice Party wants to have a debate on changes to the immunity for members of Parliament. Law and Justice politicians have emphasised that this is not entirely about removing immunity of MPs, but about assigning it strictly to parliamentary work.
There is merely a limit on hiding behind the immunity and avoiding punishment for any other crime. The MP who is doing his or her parliamentary duties will continue to be protected by the immunity. We do not see any reason why a member of parliament who, for example, steals something in a store, let's say a receiver or anything, should be protected in a special way. For abolishing the immunity of MPs altogether, we want to limit it, say, to a part of the MP's activity or any other function which now comes with immunity, to the area strictly connected with their job, their official activity related to that function. For the MP, for example, their activity in Parliament.
The current tenure of the Polish Parliament is nearing its final month, and it has been a remarkable one. The drama provided by the so-called total opposition has often led to deep divisions and tension among politicians. December 2016 brought the Parliament to a standstill when opposition politicians decided to execute a blockade of the same in order to perform a coup d'etat. Here is an assessment of this heated tenure.
Rapid escalation of political tension has undoubtedly translated to the flow of work in the Sejm. As informed by the Sejm Information Centre, the members of Parliament spoke from the lectern almost 42,000 times during the 86 sessions. These speeches often caused tension and other behaviours which were all but parliamentary. An implosion of Polish parliamentarism, certainly an attempt at limiting Polish parliamentarism by the ruling party. Today, I am not even convinced that after these 4 years we live in a state where the parliament has oversight over the government. Today we are living in a state where the ruling bunch and the Law and Justice notables are out of any supervision. They control the government, not the democratically elected parliament. This is certainly odd that the place created for debate is changing into a place to merely proclaim things. Law and Justice Senator Jan Maria Jackowski believes that this parliament tenure was very good for the Poles, considering the pioneering and fundamental projects and social programs that were initiated within the last 4 years. There were no substantive discussions coming from the opposition side, just an attempt at guerrilla tactics. They only questioned democratic election results and tried to deprive Poland of the ability to rule a sovereign state. The parliamentary statistics show that members of this parliament filed 1,324 legislation projects. During 86 sessions of the Sejm, 893 of those were established. This is an increase in the effectiveness in comparison with the previous tenure of parliament that had 1,300 projects with 752 established.
The official premiere of the film, Legione, is taking place tonight. The big-budget Polish production is set between the years 1914 and 1918 and tells the story of Poland regaining independence after 123 years without sovereign statehood. Producers of the movie have stated that it's the biggest Polish production since Miasto 44, which portrayed the 1944 Warsaw Uprising, and say it was created using state-of-the-art modern technology, with battle scenes Polish cinematography has never witnessed previously. The film hits cinemas on Friday.
Фамилия Król. Место рождения Polska.
The producers of Legiony had the challenge of portraying the seemingly impossible motivation of Polish heroes fighting for the country's independence, along with the internal struggles of everyday life at the time.
Bardzo mi zależało, żeby uzyskać taki balans między
It was important for me to find a balance between two opposite elements, love and war. They seemingly cancel each other out because it's hard to love during war, as well as fight while being in love. It was difficult to capture that, but I believe we succeeded, and the audiences will see and appreciate that balance.
To było bardzo jakieś takie zajmujące i trudne.
The fight wasn't only on the screen. Everyone engaged in the production fought to bring Legiony to an end.
A motywacją moją było zrobienie takiego
My motivation was creating a film about young Polish boys and girls who do what I call modern patriotism, meaning they believe their fate and dreams are intertwined with the freedom and well-being of their country. They want to live in a free Poland because only in a free country they can fulfill their dreams.
swojej ojczyzny.
Byliśmy niewolnikami 3 cesarzy, ale my mamy w dupie cesarzy. Jesteśmy wolnymi ludźmi.
Film hit cinemas on Friday, September 20th.
That's all we've got time here for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather. It's followed by the business, then it's culture, history, and finally the travel.
Hello, and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight calls for showers in the northwest and southern regions of the country. Warsaw, Łódź, Białystok, and Bydgoszcz will see partly cloudy skies. The temperature will vary from 8 degrees to 12 degrees centigrade. Tomorrow will be a very rainy day in Poland. Only Warsaw, Koszalin, and Olsztyn can expect to see partly cloudy skies. The warmest cities will be Rzeszów and Kraków at 20 degrees, while the coldest will be Zielona Góra at 13 degrees centigrade. The next 3 days should bring rain and clouds to Poland. On Thursday, we can expect rain in the eastern regions of the country and temperatures of 12 degrees to 16 degrees centigrade. Thursday will also be rainy, sparing only the northwest, but by Friday the skies should clear up and we can expect much better weather and temperatures of 12 degrees to 16 degrees centigrade. That is all for now. I invite you to stay with us and to join us later on for Poland Daily Business.
Poland Daily Business Edition. Tonight we'll talk about Brexit, ladies and gentlemen, with Artur Wróblewski, PhD of Lazarski University. Sir, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So what's now with Brexit?
It's a good question. We are now 51 days before the Brexit date, and nobody knows what will happen on October 31st. And we are now into 5th week of Boris Johnson's new government, and it looks like it's going to collapse, or we are heading for a snap election. However, the last vote denied the request, the motion of Boris Johnson for snap general early election. So nobody knows what will happen. Right now, what we know for sure is that Boris Johnson lost 6 votes. Last week, 4 votes and 2 votes on Monday.
He had a very bold statement when his majority in parliament was only 1 person. I sense that there is some discrepancy between the facts and declarations. Unfortunately, I was proven right.
But unfortunately, this 1 vote parliamentary majority collapsed because he kicked out 21 conservative members of parliament, including Grand grandson of Winston Churchill. So he does not have any majority now. However, nobody wants snap elections. The situation is very complicated. On Monday, President Boris Johnson lost two motions, two votes. One was regarding a snap election, new general early election. The other motion was also very bad for Boris Johnson because it asked or requested the disclosure of all private communications regarding the suspension of Parliament. Because we have to remember that from Tuesday the British Parliament is prorogued, or technically speaking prorogued or suspended until October 14. And what will happen now? After Parliament comes back, in the meantime, we will have like party conferences and we will have new debates and discussions. After they come back on October 17, Boris Johnson has to go to Brussels because there will be a summit. However, he was forced by last week's vote to request for Brexit delay or Brexit extension. So he has to do it. However, he said, I will never ask for a Brexit extension. I want a Brexit. So he can ignore this parliamentary request, but then he's facing impeachment or even a prison term, or he can ask for extension. The Brussels, the European Parliament, however, or the European Parliament, the members of the European Union. However, in this case, we are facing a kind of problem because, for example, France can deny this Brexit extension. And then what? He comes back to Westminster and then they have to do Brexit on October 31st. But the Parliament, the Westminster, will not allow for it. So they will ask for vote of no confidence to Boris Johnson's government. Then there should be a quick election before October 31st, a general election, but it's impossible because actually Boris Johnson can sit down and wait for 14 more days according to Fixed Term Parliaments Act and before and ask again for vote of confidence. He will not get it and then he has to call a general election. However, this will happen after October 31st. So technically speaking, it will be after the Brexit day.
On the other hand, the Brexit day is a one-sided declaration of the British government and there is no procedure. There are no rules how to leave European Union. So until Britain will leave the European Union, it is part of it. Whatever, this date was set by Britain, not by Europe. So they will still remain in this organization, in EU.
And when the Brexit extension will happen, it will be, if I'm counting correctly, a third extension of Brexit. The last one was supposed to happen on Fool's Day, on April the 1st. So we see like a cabaret or a theater, Shakespearean theater.
It looks like it was written by Monty Python. I wouldn't agree with you.
Or Monty Python would be a good example of similar parody and farce. So nobody knows what will happen, but maybe there will be a situation when, for example, France or paradoxically Poland can block his request for delay of Brexit. Then he comes back on October 18. He will announce to the Parliament they won't allow me to extend the date of Brexit. Then Parliament will immediately vote for a snap election. However, it will take 14 days to process the whole things because Boris Johnson probably will sit down, do nothing, and after 14 days ask for vote of confidence. He will not get it, and there will be election. It means that actually Britain will go through and will ram this Brexit, technically speaking.
But
I hope you understand what I'm telling.
No, not really. But there is one serious issue in this because we had this referendum won by Brexiters 2 years ago, and this vote, this will of the people remains, and what politicians are doing with it.
This is a problem because there was a popular vote, a plebiscite, a referendum, and people ask for Brexit.
Although with very narrow majority and...
but still, it's a majority of people who wanted UK leave the European Union. So we should respect the will of the people. Now this will of people is ignored and there is a talk about a second referendum. But actually it's not very democratic if we vote and vote until the decision comes which the elite likes, for example, or business likes, or corporations like. So we should be very careful in this sense that we should remember that in June of 2016 there was a vote and people wanted to leave. Maybe the mood change. Maybe there should be another referendum, but still there is a kind of undemocratic cloud hanging over the whole process and drama which is played in front of us, in front of our eyes in the United Kingdom.
Maybe the solution is to have a referendum on the terms of leaving European Union. Do on this or that,
exactly.
And then proceed.
The most important red line for Boris Johnson is this backstop idea that actually the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland would stay within the custom union of the European Union, which is not acceptable for Brexiteers.
Dr. Artur
Wróblewski from Lazarski University in Warsaw.
Dr. Artur okay.
It's because of the Brexit.
Dr. Artur Wróblewski of Lazarski University in Warsaw. We will follow this issue and hopefully it will become serious one time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was it for Poland Daily Business tonight.
Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily Business Weather. The forecast for tomorrow will bring rain in most regions of the country. The only places that can expect to see partly cloudy skies will be Warsaw, Koszalin and Olsztyn. The temperature will vary from 13 degrees to 20 degrees centigrade. In Europe, we can expect to see sunny and partly cloudy skies in most regions of the continent. The only exceptions will be Dublin, where we can expect to see clouds and a temperature of 15 degrees, and Madrid, where we can expect to see rain and a temperature of 26 degrees centigrade. The warmest cities will be Rome and Athens at 31 degrees, while the coldest will be Helsinki at 13 degrees centigrade. That is all for now. I thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. Our guest for today is Aleksandra Gintrowska, singer, actress, and also a very beautiful woman. Ola, thank you for being with us.
Hi, and thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
But before we dig up all Ola's artistic secrets, let's listen to one of her songs. So far, you recorded 4 different singles. 3 of them are in English, 1 of them is in Polish. What do they talk about and what kind of music is it?
I would say it's kind of a mix of pop, different types of pop, because like we know pop music is very broad. And I was looking for my music. The first one was missing. Then there was Best That I Felt and Rowdy, which were recorded in the States. That was also a great experience and lesson to learn when I was recording in LA. And then the last one is Biała Magia, which is in Polish, White Magic. Well, some of them say about love, looking for love. I would say lost love, like missing after the right person. And then some are just about, being yourself and being happy, and, just enjoying life, which is actually what I want to write still, like accepting yourself, loving yourself. That love is actually the most important in our life, because without love, we wouldn't be really fulfilled and happy. That's what I think. But also, being yourself, like not putting masks and not being afraid to show who you are. That's also really important for me, because nowadays, especially when we have, all these places like Instagram, Facebook, we get to see fake people. Like they're just, changing their pictures, trying to show that they're so nice and great and happy, but in the end, they're not that really happy and they're lonely. So for me, the most important is just to show that you're not afraid to show who you are. Yeah. But I'm still looking, by that time I was still looking for my sound. And now I feel like I'm finally getting there. I think that I found my sound.
And before coming to the studio, you shared with me the fact that you're working on another single right now. What is it?
Well, actually, I'm working at the same time on 6 different songs.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's going to be the first half of my album. And then, because we decided to, just split the works and do the first part, and then do the second part. And the first one is the 6 songs, and hopefully the second one also will be 6 songs. Most of them this time are in Polish. Maybe one. For sure one. Maybe the second one will be also in English, but I'm not sure yet, because I'm still polishing some lyrics. Well, actually, I'm going to repeat myself, because most of them are about love. Actually, few are about what I experienced, from my life. Maybe not straight exactly, described. But but it's about the love and people I met in my life, and also what I see in a word, what I notice, and what I like to underline in my lyrics, because this is a place where I can have my voice, and no one's gonna say that I cannot say or sing it. So this is my platform, I would say. So I want to, say what I see and what I feel to people. And hopefully some of them maybe will feel me or understand and have the same opinion.
So you're basically sharing the truth in your music.
Yes, hopefully.
Will it be directed to any specific people who can just learn more about your feelings in them?
Yes, probably.
So you're waiting for it. It sounds very exciting, to be honest.
Yes,
and
it is.
Where we can listen to your performances, where the audience of Poland Daily Culture will be able to listen to your songs?
Well, now you can listen to my old songs in YouTube, but the new ones are still, in production. So, but later, people will be able to probably listen on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. I'm trying to, get all those platforms to deliver my music.
Do you planning any concerts, or do you participate in any music festivals?
Yes. I'm trying to to perform where it's possible, because for me it's a great training and also a great opportunity to perform between the greatest performers in Poland. Recently I was performing in the Sopot Top of the Top festival. It's a great experience because really great musicians and singers perform there. So I'm really grateful that I got to be there between those people. This month, actually, I will be performing on the film festival in Gdynia.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that's also a great opportunity for me.
Which song did you choose for Gdynia
I'm still
festival?
waiting because they actually gonna choose what I'm gonna sing, so I still don't know. But it's probably gonna be one of my uncle's music because they decided to go in those, like, move back in those times. So most of the performers there will be singing songs from the probably solidarity times. It's kind of the theme for the night, gala night. And then also we're trying, we're gonna work on the new Gintrowski concert. And yeah, I'll be busy with my album.
You are very busy. You're a very busy person, also a musician, already shaped in many ways with many performances. What advice would you give to young people who, younger even than you, who are trying to find their way, who may be making decisions of their life to become a musician or a performer, an artist? What would you tell them?
Well, I would say, first of all, sing as much as possible, even small concerts in your city, because this gives you more, freedom and less, I would say, you're not that afraid to step on the stage and sing. Even though every time I'm really stressed and I'm like, oh my God, that's not gonna work, I'm so afraid. This feeling I get every time. But I heard that there was one actor who said that if you're not feeling stressed, you're not a real performer. Because if you're not feeling this little, bit of stress, it becomes your routine. So you're not performing it anymore like a real performer who's living in the moment and performing the song with all her feelings. Then it just becomes your routine and you're just repeating what you've learned. So that's one thing. And then looking for your sound can actually get a lot of time. So don't be afraid. If you're not feeling something, just try to look for new things. And it's not a bad thing to actually change from one type of music to a different one, because I've been learned in opera singing, and for a long time I've been in between. I couldn't decide if I wanted to sing classically or just with white natural voice. And because I was trained in opera singing, I'm still fighting with, technical issues, because the learning of singing opera is completely different than singing naturally. And I'm still trying to actually go back to natural singing, to, what we were born with, like how to sing naturally, because I've been trained different way. But I don't regret it, because opera actually developed my voice and my scale, and also gave me a lot when it comes to technique.
I think it's a great punchline. Sing as much as you can, even under the shower. Probably shower singing will be my domain, for example. But audience of Poland Daily, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Few countries in the modern era have been shaped by or subject to the horrors of war as much as Poland. From its emergence after the First World War in 1918 until 20 years later, it found itself again subject to occupation. The army has played a key role in Poland's history and development. In this series of films, we look at that time, the emergence of a new army in 1918, its first major conflict in the Polish-Soviet War, its attempts during the 1930s to maintain development faced with a European-wide arms race and the struggle of the Second World War. This is a story of how the Polish Army and the Navy and the Air Force responded to that challenge. When we talk about the new Polish Army and independence, of course, soldiers were drawn from the three partitioning powers, Germany, Russia and Austria. What sort of influences, or how did the Polish Chief of Staff decide on how to create a new army from essentially three different traditions?
Ta armia powstawała nie z trzech części, ale właściwie z pięciu, bo jeszcze musimy pamiętać, że oprócz tych armii zaborczych były też...
This army was formed not from three parts, but actually from five, because we still have to remember that apart from the partitioning armies, there were also Piłsudski legions, which was a volunteer formation that was created during World War II. There was also the Polish army in France, which was founded in 1917. We had at least 5 sources of Polish officers and soldiers, and they tried to develop a common method. After the end of the Polish-Bolshevik War, because we had an alliance with France, as our ally, France wanted to force some things onto us, and at the beginning, the French influence was large. During the French mission in Poland, which helped organize the supreme state authorities, it was an adversary and training mission. The French influence was very strongly manifested. However, but no other experiences were rejected, above all the experience of officers, often very high levels. An example is the commander of the Greater Poland Uprising, General Dowbor-Muśnicki, who was a general in the Russian army. He transferred the experiences gained while fighting in the partitioning army to his own land. The army of the Greater Poland Uprising was interesting because it came from the Prussian army, the German army, as most of the soldiers were soldiers of the German army who returned from the front of the First World War and fought for Greater Poland. Marshal Józef Piłsudski, who was self-taught when it comes to military and did not finish any military school, he was a very good strategist. He knew very well the history of wars, Napoleonic Wars. He also knew other war activities, so as a self-taught, he had an influence on the organization and management of war. We can observe this both in the Polish-Bolshevik War and later after he took over full power after 1926.
Wojną możemy obserwować zarówno w wojnie polsko-bolszewickiej, jak i później po tym, jak przejął pełnię władzy po roku 1926.
And in the immediate post-war period, did the size of the armed forces grow from the million or so it had for the Soviet-Polish War? I mean, how did the army get bigger?
Oczywiście po zawarciu pokoju ryskiego I ukształtowaniu wschodniej granicy Polski.
Of course, after the conclusion of the Riga Peace and the formation of the eastern border of Poland, the army was reduced to a peaceful state. There were 1 million soldiers in the army during the war, while during peace, the army had about 300,000 soldiers. This was an army which primarily trained and prepared for war. It was an army that consisted of infantry, cavalry, artillery, but also armored weapons, which were tanks, aviation, and a Polish navy, which was stationed on the Polish coast in the newly built city of Gdynia, but also in the second Polish base in the Baltic on Hel.
Drugą bazą polskiej marynarki był Hel na Bałtyku.
In 1933, in Germany, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor. He had written in Mein Kampf that he would seek territorial expansion in the east, and immediately in breach of the Versailles Treaty, he started rearming, essentially, and increasing the size of the German armed forces. How did Poland react to this increase of the German armed forces on its border?
Polska w okresie w latach 30.
Poland in the 1930s had a strong army in Europe, but Hitler's rise to power and the creation of the Wehrmacht influenced the Polish military authorities who tried to modernize the army. After the death of Marshal Piłsudski in 1935, Polish capabilities and the Polish armed forces were evaluated, and the project modernization of the army was created. We studied, through intelligence, how the German army grows, how the Red Army grows, because we should not forget that the Soviet Union and Germany were our two largest neighbors, so Poland tried to modernize its own industry and create our own weapon systems, but also to buy some weapon systems and introduce them in our army, like the anti-tank cannons that were purchased at the Swedish company Bofors. A license to manufacture them was also purchased. In addition, guns modeled on American revolvers were introduced into the armament of the Polish army, and UR anti-tank rifles were introduced, which were an innovative solution, a weapon that was a secret weapon before the outbreak of World War II, which could destroy any German or Soviet tank in 1939. Its armament potential was modernized on a large scale. Tanks were also produced in Warsaw at the Ursus factory, 7 TP light tanks. Various types of planes were built. Wash bombers, medium bombers, twin-engine bombers were put into service. Although there were only few of them, this showed that the Polish arms industry, although built from scratch, was at a world-class level and was able to produce combat equipment and tools that did not differ in their class from solutions used in other countries. The Polish problem was primarily the amount of weapons. Unfortunately, the state was poor and backwards after regaining independence. After 130 years of captivity, it was necessary to merge those three parts that created one country and try to develop their own industry, factories. It is also worth mentioning of the investment of the late 30s Central Industrial District, which was created in the Security Triangle and new industrial plants in the forks of the Vistula and San rivers. For example, a factory in Rzeszów where anti-grav guns and many other factories were manufactured, or in Stalowa Wola, where a large steel mill was built, or other southern plants.
Rozpoczęto budowę też nowych miast, jak chociażby Stalowej Woli, gdzie wybudowano dużą hutę, tak zwane zakłady południowe, gdzie produkowano chociażby haubice dla potrzeb armii.
So one of the challenges then essentially was keeping up with the quantity of new equipment needed in the face of a time in Europe when, certainly towards the end of the 1930s, there was this massive increase in re-equipping of armies.
Polacy produkowali sprzęt na własne potrzeby, starali się też sprzęt stary.
Poles produced equipment for their own needs. They also tried to export old equipment that was worn out in order to raise funds to introduce new constructions and improve their own arms industry. Poland, in the interwar period, took part in the sale of weapons to Spain, where the civil war lasted from 1936, and the old equipment that came from the supplies of the First World War was sold out, and efforts were made to supplement it using its own production to the best of its ability. Before the outbreak of World War II, attempts were made to buy equipment from our allies in France and Great Britain, but unfortunately these purchases and their production had little effect on the armament of the Polish army in 1939, because only 50 tanks were brought to the outbreak of the war. Only one battalion was created.
50 czołgów, które powstały, jeden batalion z nich.
One of the great advantages we had during the Second World War on the Allied side was, of course, the availability of intelligence from having cracked the Enigma code, something, of course, we're very proud of in the United Kingdom, the work of Alan Turing, but of course that work was based very much on the work of Polish decoders. And I was wondering how initially the Polish decoders were able to get hold of the Enigma machine and begin their decoding work.
Polacy, wywiad polski, biuro szyfrów polskiego wywiadu w latach 20. wiedziało, że Niemcy...
The Polish Intelligence Cipher Bureau in the 1920s knew that Germany was using cipher machines and chose young mathematicians from Poznań and taught them how to code. These mathematicians were employed in the cipher office. Because the ciphers were sent by radio, anyone could pick them up. They tried to break the German coding method using the Enigma machine, and they succeeded at the end of 1932. Marian Rejewski managed to break the German coding method. Thanks to mathematical analysis, he deciphered German reports. The principles of the machine's operation were learned due to the fact that a similar machine operating on a similar principle found itself in the hands of the Polish intelligence. These machines, based on this design, were also used commercially so they were available on the market. Similar machines could be purchased. In cooperation with our cryptologists, this machine was broken, and alongside its coding method.
Tę maszynę złamać sposób kodowania.
In these programs we've seen how Poland, from its emergence in 1918, after 123 years of partition, has, as a state, had to fight for its place in Europe. The army and the other services have constantly grappled with the need for new technology against an ever-changing European political and military background. This fight for technology is one thing, but in Poland there was also a fight, a real fight, against real enemies. And despite their material defects, of never quite being ready, of never quite having enough equipment, the Polish military spirit was undimmed. This was clearest of all in the Second World War, when Poland contributed to two particular events, the Battle at Monte Cassino and the contribution to the Battle of Britain. Those just two out of every major theatre in which the Polish army took part. This has been a fascinating story of an undimmed military spirit fighting against all the odds. A great story. I'm Nicholas Richardson, and join me again on Poland Daily History when we delve into some more exciting aspects of Poland's history.
Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. Today we head west. Our destination is the palace and grounds at Radziowice. Situated about 40 kilometers west of Warsaw, the palace complex is a haven for artists and a welcome spot to retire to the countryside for travelers. It's a complex of classical residences surrounded by a park. And it's been a cultural center since 1965. The Radziowice family first built the castle in the 1500s. During the palace's heyday, it was a residence to various kings of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. During the 17 and 1800s, the Kraszyński family gave the complex its present look. And currently, the castle and the complex are visited by writers, columnists, actors, filmmakers, musicians, and visual artists. So come along and let's take a look at the Radziowice Castle, Palace, and grounds. The weather's perfect. Let's go for a walk. And watch Poland Daily Travel. We're glad to be here for you.
Well, if I were working on my next book, which I am, I would like to have a place this quiet and secluded. It's not quiet right now because they're mowing the grass, but generally is quiet and secluded to work on my book.
Writing a book, composing music, growing these beautiful roses, just spending time in here.
Well, going out and painting. You can go out and paint in the open air here. You know,
as Mr. Kraszyński was a friend of the artists. It's a wonderful place for the artists. All these cute little windows, all these plants, climbing these beautiful walls, medieval castle connected with classic palace.
Yeah, from this side you can really see the medieval castle part, and against the blue sky, it's really beautiful today. All it's missing is a beach.
Now it's my duty to take all the guests from Warsaw in here.
Yeah, you have to.
It's half-hour drive, and we look what a comfortable place, and it's not too big.
This is going to be one of my destinations for visitors from now on. And if they want to have a nice day out and come, because guess what? It's also a good place to have a Polish meal. Yeah.
Can you see these tables?
I prefer this to Żelazowa Wola.
Żelazowa Wola was good, but it's supposed to be this sophisticated and refined place for listening music only. But this, look, can you see these tables?
They look very inviting.
Can you feel this?
I can smell some cooking.
I think that TV should be improved with smell one day.
It smells like dessert,
If they could smell
what we can smell right now.
They'd be very tempted, wouldn't they?
They must be having a party or something.
Whatever advertisement would go at the moment, it would be like very good one.
Do you think they're having a party here tonight or something like that?
Okay, let's join it. Let's be a part of it. Let's say that we are the host. I am Mr. Kraszinski, and you are my gardener.
What? Are you your gardener?
I am Mr.
Thanks for the promotion.
I am Count Kraszinski, and you are Countess, or no?
You can tell him I have a green thumb.
You have a green thumb?
Yeah, that in English that means that, no, it doesn't mean I am ill. It means that I can grow things very well, a green thumb.
Ah,
it means
okay.
I'd be a good gardener if I had a green thumb.
Okay, so maybe they grew something tasty that they will prepare for us today.
Yeah, I think we should sit down and have something to eat, yeah? What do you think? Have some good Polish food, see what they got here.
No, you are talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Now I can be your gardener.
You like eating, because we eat almost every time.
Yes, because...
we go somewhere with you.
Because we work hard and we practice Polish food hard as well.
We practice we study the Polish cuisine, right? Okay. Well, let's sit down and talk about it, yeah?
Look at these beautiful chairs. Like little masterpieces.
Are they?
Why not?
They're comfortable. Good. Poland Daily Travel. We're going to order some food and take a break here in the beautiful gardens of the Palace Radziejowice.
Radziejowice. As simple as that.
It's so easy for you to say it. You must have studied Polish for a long time. Like all your life.
We are safe when we travel. No one understands us. Unless we say pierogi.
Yeah, then they know. Yeah.
Then they know.
Or kielbasa.
It's Polish. Or kielbasa. Yes, this is when they know for sure.
Okay, stay with us. We're going to order some food. Hello, everybody. As you may have noticed in the previous excerpt, before that tidy bumper, we were sitting down to decide what we're going to have to eat after a long morning and early afternoon, working ourselves to the bone, working our fingers to the bone. We haven't actually, but nonetheless, we're hungry, aren't we, Arthur?
Yes.
And as I said before, you always like to eat when you're a guest on the show. So what do you think? What do they got here?
Well, I cannot stop looking at homemade pâté served with horseradish and cranberries.
Are you going to get it?
As an appetizer, they also are presenting us lentil stuffed dumplings served with butter, or salad mix with blue cheese and balsamic sauce. And how about classic beef carpaccio with arugula, olive oil and Parmesan cheese to finish this many appetizer list with beetroot carpaccio with goat cheese.
Mm-hmm. Which one would you have?
Instead of having an appetizer, I will have a soup.
Oh, you're going to have soup?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so chicken soup is most traditional Polish thing, or chilled beetroot soup. If that was much warmer than right now, then we would go this direction. But cream of green vegetable soup is also an option for...
Vegetable soup or soup?
Soup. Soup. Check at Google.
Ask me to say Radziejowice. Radziejowice.
Yeah.
What is it?
Soup.
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 I don't know. At any rate, so you're gonna have. You're gonna have soup. I'll have soup too, I think.
I'll have a soup and I will have cod. Today they have a cod.
Oh yeah, I see.
But
well,
also,
what do they have? They have cod, and they have goose
fillet,
and they have beef cheeks.
Mm-hmm. With horseradish sauce again, and cabbage and potato puree,
which is mashed potatoes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have beef cheeks. I don't know why.
They can be beef.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But it just sounds good.
So today you are going for beef ones, right?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And, what? What's that mean?
How about roasted turkey leg with pearl barley and Polish fried beets?
Well, fried beets would be good.
Beets are all over the place.
I'm thinking...
Beets are all over.
I'm thinking beef cheeks, because I know that that's a speciality in Poland, and it's liable to be very good at a place like this. Yes?
Look what's coming. Good afternoon.
Is he listening to us? No, we already ordered the soup.
We have our zoops.
We ordered the soup.
Our zoup's coming. Thank you very much.
This was a setup. We already knew what we were having, but we're just going through the menu to
We
pretend.
knew what's coming. We just wanted to tell you what's down there.
In fact, they told us.
Short list?
Exactly.
Short list?
Yeah.
So they know what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They have just few options, and all of them are tasty. That's the good quality restaurants thing.
Yeah, and it's all Polish. It's all Polish food, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you get the fish. What did you get, the fish?
So the gentleman told us about the fish. It's not in menu.
It's not in the menu.
So this is what they have today. It's always good to ask what they have today.
But what did you order?
Cod and
the fish.
Yes.
Dorscht.
Dorscht
in Polish and cod.
So maybe
in
let's take a look at desserts.
You gonna have a dessert?
No, I'm not going to have one.
This is what I smelled, the apple pie. That's what I smelled.
No,
cooking.
apple pie is an obligatory Polish thing. Then warm cheesecake with raspberry mousse.
That'd be good.
Okay, maybe I will have a dessert.
You're gonna have that?
And there is Neapolitan ice cream, free flavor.
Well, that's vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry.
Surely.
Neapolitan, right?
Surely.
Shirley?
So it's like...
Don't call me Shirley.
So it's like Italian flag.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, it's not. Red, white, and chocolate? That's not the Italian flag.
Oh.
No, Neapolitan ice cream is chocolate, strawberry,
on leaf chocolate
and vanilla.
is green.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, folks, stay with Poland Daily. We'll be right back. We're waiting for our food, to taste our food. And we'll see you in the next episode with me and Arthur at the palace in...
Radziejowice.
Radziejowice, I say. Radziejowice. I like to roll the R.
As easy to sightsee as it's easy to say.